Immigration is the movement of people from one country or region to another in order to make a new home.
Immigration hasn't always been the way it is today due to the fact that immigration has dramatically increased throughout its history. America has served as the destination point for a steady flow of immigrants. During the colonial era, most immigrants came from the northern European countries. Their numbers declined with one set of the Revolutionary War during the 1770s, but immigration later picked up strongly again during the 1840s and the 1850s. New arrivals came from several European countries during this period, but most came from Ireland and Germany, where devastating crop failures forced many residents to leave their homelands. Many settled in New York City, where the population increased from 200,000 residents in 1830 to 515 in 1850. By 1860, New York was home to over 1 million residents. More than half of the city's population at the time were immigrants and their American-born children. After the Civil War, America's growing industrial economy required the addition of many more workers, and this need was filled once again by immigrants arriving from Europe. Approximately 25 million arrived between 1866 and 1915. While early immigrants had come mainly from northern European countries such as England, Germany, and Scandinavian countries, by 1880s most new immigrants were arriving from southern and eastern European countries such as Italy, Poland, and Russia. Like their Irish preceders, most of these new arrivals were poor and uneducated. Many were peasants from regions who were being pushed out by Europe's Industrial Revolution. With the U.S. entering World War I in 1919, immigration declined dramatically and remained low throughout the Depression era of the 1930s and the World War II years of the early 1940s. The number of new arrivals began to increase again during the late 1940s and has risen steadily since then. Right now, there are 325 million people in the United States today, and 13.9% are immigrants, which is approximately 23.3 million immigrants in the United States, and half of them are even undocumented. Today, immigration is one of the most controversial topics in our economy. Ever since Donald J. Trump's presidential speech announcement in 2016, which he mentions immigration, but how he interprets immigration is quite unsettling.
At the border, they're laughing at us, at our stupidity. And now they're beating us economically. They are not our friend, believe me. But they're killing us economically. The U.S. has become a dumping ground for everybody else's problems. Thank you. It's true. And these are the best and the finest. When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems. And they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists. And some, I assume, are good people. But I speak to border guards, and they tell us what we're getting. And it only makes common sense. It only makes common sense. They're sending us not the right people. It's coming from more than Mexico. It's coming from all over South and Latin America, and it's coming probably from the Middle East. But we don't know, because we have no protection, and we have no competence. We don't know what's happening. And it's got to stop. And it's got to stop fast.
America needs a better plan than just building a wall, deporting immigrants, and having a bigger and better border patrol. My plan is suitable for both sides of the economy. It is to first raise the number of legal immigrants by about 50% to about 1.8 million a year. That meets the economy's demonstrated demand for workers. Second, provide pathways. Bring in these 1.8 million people on temporary visas, say for 3 to 5 years, with the promise of a permanent legal residency, a green card, if they stay out of trouble, pose no security risk, and work to or get a college degree. Third, don't micromanage who gets in. Allocate visas using a three-way formula that gives about equal weight to family, work, and education. 600,000 family visas for close relatives of citizens and green card holders. 600,000 work visas for people who sponsored by an employer and have less than a bachelor's degree. 600,000 education visas for people who hold a bachelor's degree or higher, with first call going to those who also have employer sponsorship or family ties. There is no chance at the moment that my plan will be adopted, but there is some chance that making the case for it might help clarify what the country should be shopping for in an immigration reform measure. But what reform needs to do then is admit more skilled immigrants without choking off supply of less skilled ones. That means, of course, admitting more immigrants. In other words, raise the ceiling. And raise it for good. The Senate's bill included a temporary worker program under which low-skilled workers could come in for 2 years, leave for 1 year, come in for 2 more years, leave for 1 year, come in for 2 more years, and then leave forever. This is just silly. People who come here to work or learn tend to put down roots. Allowing them to do so gives them the advantage to follow the law and connect with communities. Even in principle, there's no right number of immigrants, but the kind of plan I described here was an advantage of squaring with marketplace realities. According to CBO, in 2006, almost 600,000 immediate relatives of citizens got green cards under the Ranch Plan that would not change. In 2006, an additional 222,000 more distant relatives came in under life-sponsored visas, and about 160,000 workers came in with an employer sponsorship. Those almost 400,000 extended family and work slots would become more than 1 million work and education slots that would make more room for more legal workers at both ends of the skill spectrum. It would leave more room for extended family members to come in with either a job or college degree, and it would soak up much of what is now legal immigration. Not least, tying visas to jobs and diplomas would let employers and universities choose American immigrants. Those choices, however imperfect, will surely be better than the ones made by the Senate bills' cumbersome, auditory, and finicky point system, which amounted to an industrial policy for labor. Why 8 points for completing a Labor Department registered apprenticeship program, but only 10 points for a 5-year of actual work experience? Why a maximum of 47 points for employment versus 28 for education? Think about how many more young men and women in the developing world might go to college in hopes of qualifying for a permanent U.S. visa. Even though there are many solutions to an immigration plan, I still have hope for my plan to be heard. Immigration is such a serious topic to talk about, but we need a plan on how we should approach immigration. Many people have an extravagant futures ahead of them, but what if it's all taken away by a man who claims he can make America great again? But since when was America great? That's my question. If he wants to make America great, then have a better plan for both sides of the spectrum. Thank you.